A Green Lantern arrives on Earth. Lanterns Episode 1, Something's Coming, takes us back to 1996, a decade after Green Lantern first arrived on Earth. Hal Jordan has already become a global hero. After dramatically stopping a meteor from destroying Victoria Falls, Hal appears on television for a candid interview, discussing his past as an Air Force veteran, test pilot, and, of course, Earth's first Green Lantern. Among those watching is a young John Stewart. John's childhood is immediately shown to be anything but ordinary. When his father returns home, he asks John if he is afraid before placing an apple on his head and telling him to stand against the wall. Then he shoots the apple. John doesn't flinch. That moment gives us an early glimpse of the man John will eventually become: controlled, fearless, and seemingly capable of handling extreme pressure. The story then jumps forward to 2016. John Stewart is now training under Hal Jordan and appears to have been working with him for around 2 months. The Guardians have chosen John for a reason, but Hal makes sure his new student understands one thing: being selected doesn't mean he's ready. Hal decides to teach John a lesson in the most ridiculous way possible. He leaves his ring on the dashboard, jumps out of the car, and allows John to drive straight toward the edge of a cliff. John survives by using the ring to create what he describes as bubble wrap. Needless to say, John isn't impressed. He calls his father to vent about Hal's reckless training methods, but his father encourages him to stay focused. According to him, John simply needs to stay the course and eventually, he'll become the Green Lantern. But things become even stranger when John touches the ring. Suddenly, another version of Hal Jordan materializes beside him. This isn't the real Hal. It's apparently a backup of Hal's consciousness, and it has one strange message. There's hail in Nebraska. Then it disappears. John eventually catches up with the real Hal, who seems far more interested in enjoying his celebrity status at a taco stand. But when Hal receives the mysterious message, he immediately heads toward Nebraska, leaving John to figure out how to get there himself. Once John finally arrives, he discovers that Hal considers the entire situation part of his training. A strange crime scene has been discovered at a football field. Emergency crews from 2 different counties have been investigating for hours, and nobody seems to understand exactly what happened. John immediately suspects extraterrestrial involvement. The local sheriff, Carrie, isn't convinced. Hal uses the situation to test John's investigative abilities, and before long, John becomes convinced that an alien is hiding among the people at the scene. He approaches a suspicious man wearing a short-sleeved shirt, but John gets too close and triggers a chase. Eventually, John manages to take him down. The suspect is arrested, but the mystery is far from solved. Later, at a local bar, John starts questioning Hal directly. He's beginning to wonder whether Hal is actually qualified to mentor him. John also wants answers about the ring and believes that the strange events in Nebraska may somehow be connected to it. Hal finally reveals that something unusual happened to him. A massive green bubble suddenly surrounded him. A mysterious voice asked him whether he was afraid, and Hal was transported across the country to Nebraska. That experience has convinced him that something much bigger is happening. Hal also discusses his predecessor, Abin Sur, the lantern who gave him the ring and placed the responsibility of protecting Earth in his hands. Now Hal believes that whatever happened in Nebraska is no accident. Something is coming. Hal eventually gets himself arrested so he can get closer to the mysterious suspect. But Sheriff Carrie isn't making things easy. Instead of allowing Hal to question the prisoner, she keeps him separated and even allows the situation to escalate until Hal ends up in court. The bail is set at an unbelievable $200,000. Fortunately, lawyer Billy Macon arrives and agrees to help. However, there is a catch. Billy is married to Carrie. The Lanterns eventually make their way to the Macon Ranch, where they discover a heavily armed militia training for what they believe is an approaching war. The group's leader is Will. Will is convinced that the mysterious man in jail is part of an advanced force preparing Earth for an invasion. He agrees to help Hal get access to the prisoner, but his real price remains unclear. And that's not the only complication. Earlier in the episode, John slept with a woman he met at the bar. That woman turns out to be Will's wife, Zoe. Even worse, Will appears to know exactly what happened. Eventually, Carrie brings Hal and John to see the prisoner. His name is Waylon Sanders. According to the evidence, he's completely human. He's a licensed truck driver who has been living quietly for years, and even his x-rays reveal nothing unusual. But Hal isn't convinced. He knows that appearances can be deceiving. During his interrogation, Hal begins pushing Waylon for answers. The situation becomes increasingly tense until Waylon finally loses control. And then he explodes. Hal reacts quickly, surrounding the entire area with a massive green construct. The precinct is damaged, and a huge hole is left in the building, but Hal manages to prevent anyone else from being killed. The incident proves one thing. John was right. Something alien really is happening in Nebraska. 10 years later, Hal Jordan is dead. Then the episode makes its biggest jump yet. We move forward to 2026. Nebraska is now a very different place. John Stewart arrives and reunites with Carrie, but the situation immediately turns dark. Hal Jordan is sitting in the stands, dead. Dried blood covers his forehead. And, perhaps most importantly of all, his Green Lantern ring is gone. That final reveal completely changes the direction of the story and sets up the mystery at the center of the season. Who killed Hal Jordan? Who took his ring? And what exactly was the alien warning everyone about? James Gunn's DC universe has already taken audiences in several different directions, and Lanterns attempts something different once again. Instead of delivering a traditional superhero adventure, Episode 1 mixes a slow-burning crime drama with science fiction mystery and the larger mythology of the Green Lantern universe. The biggest mystery, however, might actually be Hal Jordan himself. Throughout the episode, almost everyone seems to question him. Carrie openly belittles him. John questions whether he's actually receiving proper training. Even the backup version of Hal appears to question the man Hal has become. The show seems determined to ask whether Hal Jordan is truly the hero everyone believes he is. And strangely enough, that uncertainty makes him the most interesting character in the episode. Hal's charisma, history, and chaotic relationship with John give the premiere most of its personality, which makes the final twist even more surprising. The show kills him. That leaves Jon Stewart with the responsibility of carrying the story forward. Aaron Pierre's John is still very much an unknown quantity after this first episode. We get hints about his childhood and his relationship with his father, but there isn't quite enough yet to make him as compelling as Hal. That could obviously change as the season continues. In fact, Hal's death may be the event that finally forces John to step out of his mentor's shadow. There are also some interesting questions surrounding the Green Lantern ring itself. John claims that he created bubble wrap to protect himself when the car went over the cliff, although the episode conveniently avoids showing us exactly what happened. The series also skips over Hal's origin with Abensur, which feels like a missed opportunity considering how important that moment is to Green Lantern's story. Then there's the strange question of what Hal can actually create. At one point, he creates a fake dollar bill convincing enough to fool a jukebox and pay for multiple songs. The music even continues after Hal removes the ring. So, naturally, one question immediately comes to mind. If Hal can create money convincing enough to fool a machine, why couldn't he simply use his powers to solve the $200,000 bail problem? Of course, fooling a jukebox isn't exactly the same thing as paying bail with counterfeit money, so there may be limitations that the episode simply hasn't explained yet. Still, it does create a slightly confusing moment regarding the rules of the ring. Overall, Lanterns Episode 1 is a decent start. The mystery is interesting enough to keep viewers watching, and the combination of crime drama and cosmic science fiction gives the show a different identity from most superhero series. But killing off Hal Jordan in the very first episode is a huge gamble. He is easily the most entertaining and compelling character introduced so far, and now the series will have to prove that Jon Stewart can carry the weight left behind. The mystery surrounding Hal's death, the missing ring, and the approaching alien threat gives Lanterns plenty of material to explore. The question now is whether Jon Stewart can become the hero capable of holding it all together. Because after Episode 1, one thing is clear. Something is coming, and whatever it is, Hal Jordan may have died trying to stop it.